everybody, and welcome to Get Out of Rap TV, your 45-minute fix of all things contact centers. It's great to be here. There's already a couple of comments. Thank you so much to lovely Ray. Ray, known as Ray, is obviously Bev Hughes, is a rare sunshine. Um, there isn't anything she doesn't know about CX, about technology in our industry, bringing it all together with operations, and she is available. So someone needs to snap her up. And Orok James, hello, my friend from Cameroon. It's great to have you here. Hello to you, sir. So, some comments before we'd even started. Well played, everybody. It's great to be here. Now, to start with, what I would love to know from those of you that are watching, let's get to know each other a little bit better. It's one of my favorite bits. So, say hello in the comments, as Bev and Orok James have done. And what did you want to be doing as a job when you were a child? Let's get to know each other. What did you want to? Ah, lovely. Marianne is here. And Danny, morning all. We need to make like a tree at 10:30ish. Well, we better make the most of you whilst you're here, Danny. Get those fingers typing. So, Marianne, awesome, awesome down at the Verity Centre. Danny, the culture vulture. Ah, lovely Eva, who I worked with at BPA Quality, is an absolute shining star when it comes to everything to do with projects, understanding quality, you name it. Ivunya can do it. Hello, Dave. Good morning to you. How are you doing? We have an award winner with us. Was it Operations, Dave? The World Contact Center Awards. You've won it twice, so we are in illustrious um, company here. It's great to have you. Let's get to know each other. Um, so, I wanted to be a paleontologist. Loved dirt and bones and fossils. Still do. That is fascinating. Were you inspired, Danny, by movies, Jurassic Park, that kind of thing? Indiana Jones, Indiana Wareham. Firstly, I wanted to be a cartographer, then a mathematician. Fascinating, Marianne. That is brilliant. Now, Alistair, is this you? This is Spencer. Hi, Spencer. Hello, everyone. I've always wanted to be a RAF pilot, but sadly, I am deaf. This is Spencer. You wonder with technology as it is, Spencer, whether that will change going forward. My father was in the RAF. He wasn't a pilot. He was electrician. Joined up when he was 16, and I also at one point wanted to join the RAF as a pilot, but my eyesight is terrible, so equally didn't have a chance. And then all I ever wanted to be was a footballer. I wanted to be either an actress or an archaeologist, and still do, says Bev. Could you combine the two? Um, Eva, I first wanted to be a nurse, then a teacher. And I've seen Eva in action. A, she's very caring. B, um, she would make a great teacher, you would, Eva. Hi, Kate. How are you doing? Hey, I wanted to be a pilot in the RAF, but got glasses at 11. Very, very similar to me. When I knew I couldn't be a pilot, I thought, right, I just want to play football. Isn't it? So we've got a couple of paleontologists and a couple of wannabe pilots. Hello, Farhad from South Africa. What did you want to be when you were growing up? What was your job that you wanted to be when you were a child? And Auric, same for you. What did you want to be? Bev Hughes, I have a 350 million year old tree. Love old stuff. Now, come on, Danny, you need to elaborate. You have one in your garden? You have a fossil of one, a picture? What is it you've got? 350 million year old tree. That is awe inspiring, isn't it? Um, Here we go. So Dave says, I wanted to be a footballer or a pop star. Unfortunately, I sing like a footballer and play football like a singer. There's a crossover. There's crossover there. There's crossover. Honestly, I think it was because one of the first long words I could spell, I also wanted to be rhinoceros. And we talking a couple of weeks ago, Danny, Farhad wanted to be a clown. Is that true or is that a joke? Um, yeah, Danny's here. He's only here till past, but he is going to entertain us all the way through. Um, Luke Dobson, I wanted to be a tourist. You've got to elaborate, Luke. Did this mean you just wanted to travel? You seen tourists when you were younger and thought, "Oh yeah, is that a job? I want to do that." Um, the 350 million year old tree is a fossil. All the soft organic tissues are replaced by minerals. It's stunning. That is stunning. It's amazing, that isn't it? Um, yeah. Farhad is here. Farhad is a funny guy. Um, I should have invited two gentlemen in that just came to the door about 2 minutes before we started, who are doing the rounds locally, and I've seen their stand in our town, and they do not believe that the world is that old, Danny. So I should have invited them in. Um, this session's already made my day. I'm literally laughing my head off. There you go. This is good stuff then. James Bond James Bond films inspired my travel bug. Luke, brilliant. Now, the James Bond reference, I have to ask, who is your favorite James Bond? And that goes to everyone. That should have been a question as well. Sounds like my knees. All the soft organic tissue has been crystallized and fossilized. Oh, Bev, you do make me laugh. I know you do a lot of walking as well, so are your knees becoming fossilized? Good morning, Scott. How you doing? I wanted to be a chef. And are you still a good cook? Do you cook well, Scott? That's the question. Oruk, you wanted to be a banker. Nice. Sensible. Hello, Mike. How you doing, mate? Fighter pilot for a while, then a truck driver. Surprisingly, I only got my driving license this year. And then next is fighter pilot license, Mike. A big change of pace there, wasn't it? I thought of becoming 007. Sadly, I look like Mr. Bean. This is Spencer again. Well, you shouldn't let that stop you, Spencer. I've got high hopes for you. Come on, Luke. Are you serious? Roger Moore is your favourite. Farhad is going Roger Moore as well. Uh, Marianne's going Pierce Brosnan. Good morning, all. I wanted to be in the army growing up. I can still see you doing that, Jordan. An example of a fossilized tree. Everybody check that out. Does that also look like your knees then, Bev? 2 votes for Roger Moore. I like how we're already disappearing on a million tangents. Um, hold on. I was Roger Moore's paperboy. Well, listen. So, Luke Farhad, you've got to speak to Dave about that. He was the paperboy of your favourite Bond. Unless that is code, Dave, is it? Roger Moore's paperboy. Wow. Um, Jordan, you couldn't join because of diabetes. You're one of the fittest guys I know. What? How did you handle that? Did you just move on? Because I know you are one of life's go-getters. Um, Jordan is an absolute rising star in our industry and a lovely guy to boot. Um, so look, this we here we go. Random pub quiz fact: Bob Holness from Blockbusters was the first James Bond on radio. Moonraker would be a different vibe with him. Wow, that is a great pub quiz fact, a brilliant one. Um, yes, Michael, the same. That was my dream. Play for Spurs, be a footballer. That's all I ever wanted to be. Um, I'm the only person who adored Timothy Dalton. Clearly, I always knew you'd come up with something a bit different, Bev. Uh, improvise, adapt, overcome. Now that is a Jordan Powell tattoo, I reckon. Okay, Dave, hold on. Cilla Black, Mike Oldfield, Jess Conrad, John Mills. It was a big paper round in a very What kind of neighborhood did you live in, Dave? I did a paper round and it was certain there was no one famous. Well, they were famous for the wrong things. Why is everyone talking about Roger Moore? I'm with you on this one. What's wrong with Sean Connery? He's awesome. Sean Connery is my favorite. Underrated Beverly. He was great in Hot Fuzz too. Timothy Dalton in Hot Fuzz. Yeah, Hot Fuzz, great film. Um, hey all. Hey Kerry, how you doing? I wanted. What did you want to be when you grew up, or now even? Um, Dave, this was in Denham in Buckinghamshire. Oh, not too far. Not too far from where I am now. We have taken. If someone's tuned in expecting this to be about contact centers, they're going to have a very eclectic experience. But isn't that beautiful? Mine's very normal. Doctor, and then latterly Ellie Woods, Legally Blonde. There's nothing normal about that. I love it. All of these things, isn't it? It's great. If we could only get a way of making people get to a point where they all wanted to work in contact centers, accidentally pressed enter too quickly. No problem. Okay. Now, I'm going to, much as I'd like to talk about fossilized trees, James Bond, and what you were doing, what you wanted to be when you were children, for the whole show, I guess we better move on. If you're going to ask that question about Bond, what about your favorite Doctor Who? Now, um, I'm not a massive Doctor Who fan, but from my childhood, who was the guy with big Tom Baker? That's the only one I know. Or the guy that was in, um, he was also a vet. I remember in another show. Those two I remember. Oh, and of course the most recent one. Um, what about Mr. Ben? I love Mr. Ben. Yeah, I also loved Mr. Ben too. Marianne Withers got to be David Tennant. What? There you go. These are good icebreakers for you to use in meetings, aren't they? Because you can see it's got us all talking and getting to know each other. Um, Tom Baker is superb. Yeah, I thought Tom Baker. That was the one for me. I love how this show has gone already. Right. I don't want to stop the fun. Um, let's keep this positive. And thanks to Dan Cohen from Nespresso, who did have a word with me the other day and said, come on, your questions about our industry lead us into negative paths. So, um, hold on. Danny's off, and he's only here for half an hour, so we've got to indulge him. I like the Time Lord that invented the steam engine. Hang on, that's not who, it's what, Oh no. Get out, Danny. That is a good one. That is a good one. Vet would maybe be Peter Davidson, that's it. He's also David Tennant's father-in-law. Wow. We should all have a get out of rap pub quiz one day. I could do the show in the evening. We'll just have questions like this. Have a beer, a wine, a soft drink, whatever, but we should have a get out of rap TV pub quiz. I'm going to write that down because otherwise I forget. Will you all be up for that? Danny is probably going to be the uh, team captain. Whose voice would you love to hear when calling a contact center? Tom Baker would be a good one, I think. Um, I've never watched James Bond beyond clips or Doctor Who, so I'm lost over here. I'll get my coat. Not just yet, Danny. Great. Kate's in for a get out of rap TV pub quiz. We'll do it in the evening. I will give you the opportunity to form some teams. Shipbuilding was one of my dreams also. That's brilliant. I love it. There's got to be something in this, isn't there, about what we where we went from there. Now, another question for you all. We are also, and I think we forget this sometimes, we are also sorry, Jordan, 100%. He's in for the pub quiz. Sounds like a great idea for engagement in the community. Very true for the team leader community. We could have a team leader community team. So yes, I will organize a pub quiz. Um, what about Postman? Are you a fan of Postman Pat? I'm Spencer again. This 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 show today is gonna stay with me. Spencer, you are really making me laugh. Hi, and Jobwise Explorer says Mark. Uh, Voice in a contact center would have to be Ken Bruce, calm and soothing, or Alan Partridge when he's in his soothing voice. That's riveting. Oh, he's on a pun attack. He's a pun machine gun. Is Danny this morning? What about Postman Pat? Are you a fan of Postman Pat? I am a fan of Postman Pat, of course. Um, Yo, delivery man Pat. Oh, I'm actually crying. Um, Fireman Sam is better than Postman Pat. I mean, what have I started today? Mike, I mean, it's a toss up, isn't it? Maybe we could see them have like a UFC. Maybe that's an idea as well, that you have like a UFC cage, Fireman Sam, Postman Pat. The winner could take on Mr. Ben versus Doctor Who. Oh, voice of the contact center would be Darth Vader. Jeez, I honestly, that is brilliant. Of course, since retirement, it's just, just oh dear. This has been my favorite 17 minutes ever of doing this. Doing this show. Oh dear, I don't know how I'm going to carry on. You guys are brilliant. Okay, let's see if we can. I mean, I'm not gonna stop any of the comments. Please just keep them coming. But we are all customers, so can you describe a great experience you've had with a contact center? Um, yes, thank you. Bev's like my editor in my ear. Pull yourself together. This is live TV. Look what you've done, Martin. I know, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna try and get us back on track. So, which call center has got it right when you called them? So let's give some positive strokes to some of the people out there in our world doing it. You can, of course, name your own contact center if you want. Um, oh, okay. Pull myself together. I'm gonna have a little sip of espresso. Mm, mm, sorry. I've got the giggles. There's just too many. I need to stop looking at the comments. It's Spencer again. Oh, okay. I'll start us off. Okay. Bev, thank you. Yes, Portsmouth Water, no IVR. I love that. Now, there's another local utilities company near to me who also have no IVR. That's Leap. Although sometimes, dependent on who you get, they do just answer the phone going hello. So, but they also have no IVR. Kerry says Jet 2, though their chatbot wasn't very helpful, their agent was fab. This is what we love to hear. Come on. I will also go BT. So we had an internet issue and I spoke to two agents in BT. The first one collected all the information, referred me to another team, but did a warm handover, thankfully. And then the second guy I spoke to was also brilliant, problem resolved. Who can you describe a great experience you've had with a contact center? We are very quick, aren't we, to um, look at what we're doing and try and make it better. But we're also customers, so we must have had some good experiences. Good morning, David. I wanted to be a butcher as I like the hats they wore. At the time, I had not made the link between meat and animals. Look, that's as good a reason again as ever. And it's good to see you here, David. Um, Great experience. The Derby Brewing Company. You earn points which you trade for money to pay for beer. Claimed my points, but they weren't accepting app payments. Dropped them an email to reverse the transaction. They rang me, put my points back on, and let me retain the money on the app for a week. Free beer. Isn't that good? So when we're talking about outbound calls, for example, look at that, an outbound call that's got a real advocate talking publicly about how well they did. This is Spencer again. The best contact center is drum roll Sky, because has its own British Sign Language interpreter for me to sort out the issue. Wow, that is brilliant. Now, Spencer, I will get in touch with you afterwards. A friend of mine in our industry has always helped me. I want to be accessible to all in everything that I do. So let me come back to you after this and see how better I can do things. But well done, Sky. We love that. Southeast Water, no IVR, CLI screen pop. Who am I speaking to? Knew exactly who I was and local leaks. Brilliant. Well done. Online chats for me have been great with both British Gas and Vodafone. Calls wise, not so much. So well done on the chats, not so great on the calls. Why, Mark? What was it about the calls? It was meet requirement plus empathy plus exceed expectation equals amazing experience. Lovely. We love that formula. Love that formula, Danny. I had a pretty good experience with Halifax Bank regarding my card replacement. The agent was really there for me. What a brilliant sentence that is. She listened and understood. No empathy words, but an attitude full of understanding, empathy, and thorough knowledge. Brilliant. Love that. Sky are underrated, I feel. I agree. I know some people that work at Sky, and I know how hard they work to, like everyone, really. Come on, to do a good job. But my experiences with Sky have been pretty good. Been a Sky customer because of the football for a while. Isn't this nice to hear some good stories, albeit for when places are not quite getting it right, what are the things that they're not quite doing? And she called me back promptly as promised. Now that's good. That's really good. You never quite have faith, do you really? So I get the feeling no contact centers have fulfilled the expectations on all channels, either good agents and poor chat or average agents, but no IVR. Well, let's see. Um, Wait times mainly, constant sales messages whilst on hold. Oh god, that must be annoying. Um, Octopus Energy have been outstanding since I've moved over from Bulb. That is good to know. Thank you, Scott. Now I don't know if you can hear him in the background. The guys that were going to knock on the door that would have had a view on the fossils are back, and Hugo's going mental in the other room because they parked their car right outside my window. Anyway, right. So I'm loving this. Which call center has got it right when you called them? We've had some OVO Energy. I can't get through to now, Kerry. I know some people at OVO, so not that this should be the way to do it, but if you need a hand, let me know. Um, oh dear, not a great experience, but OVO was the only energy supplier to call me back on schedule, despite not having an update, just to keep me in the loop. Low bar for that sector lately. Yeah, they have been under the cosh a bit, haven't they? Um, I like the idea though of calling back, even when there's nothing to say. Nice. Sharing some love across the globe via this show. Yeah, Kerry, I will make a note of that just so I will put you in touch with someone I know over there. Um, okay, well, thank you. Keep these coming. Also, keep coming. What did you want to be when you grew up? Um, who's your favorite James Bond? Who's your favorite Doctor Who? Who's your favorite childhood TV show character? We've gone all over the place this morning. George, do not worry. I couldn't tell you what you've missed. It's been a bit bizarre, but also extremely funny. But it's good to have you here. It really is. Now, again, George is contact center manager. Um, available for a new role. Please do connect, hit him up, and let's get this guy adding value somewhere because he absolutely will. I agree with Michael. Monitoring contacts via many different channels over the years, I've learned that there is often a lack of consistency across communication channels. It often can be a lottery. Very true. Talk retention teams, always a human response and non-robotic for the most part. That's interesting to hear, Jordan, especially given where they figure in rankings a lot of the time. So that is good to hear. Marianne is finding it difficult to find one. Sorry, to be honest, the only time I've contacted a company is that I have had a massive issue that has been compounded by them. So I've spent an hour of waiting and then being frustrated as them not solving the issue. And I guess that's the thing is you kind of come to these situations not necessarily positive, right? So how it's handled either exasperates or deflates that. Um, I like being able to schedule a call back to fit my calendar. Very true, Michael. Peter's here. Good. Good old Peter. Um, ah. Now, uh, keeping it eclectic, Luke says Skippy the bush kangaroo was my favorite childhood character. Now, you might be surprised to know this, but Luke is my Antipodean brother. You'll never guess what part of the world he hails from, with that being his favorite childhood character. A traveler, of course, but lovely bloke, love Luke. Keep your promises, add a cherry on the top, which means we need to challenge what's stopping us keeping promises and putting cherries on top. What stops us doing that? So, Pete, what good experience has he had? Called the insurance company when I got my new car. Got 5 free days of insurance and a quote for the year in a short amount of time. It was the advisor, not the process, though, as I called back a few days later and it was a nightmare. This is the thing, we've got to stop this lottery, haven't we? We really do have to stop this lottery. Um, Marianne Withers, it's incredibly disheartening when it's the sector we work in. Feels like a positive experience is a rare experience rather than the norm. And I think the thing is here, we have to just make sure we can put it all together to the point that Eva makes and a couple of others and Danny's formula. Let's put it all together because in amongst these comments, there's some great experience. It's just yes and comment at the end, isn't it? So we can still do it, people, can't we? We can still do it. Now, uh, time has been rapidly escaping us with lots of laughter, but it's a favorite time for everybody I know. It is Contact Babel Decision Makers Guide read along. We are going to get to the end of this just as the new one comes out, I think. So I'll tell you where we're at. We are at page 421. We're nearly there. We're going to get to the good stuff. Well, personal preference. I consider the good stuff the human related stuff. Let me just come back to this. Pete Dunn, 75% of issues leading to a poor experience are down to processes, not the agent. But as you mentioned, sometimes it is down to the agent. Right. So we are, good point, Michael. We're 421 pages in. We are now at call identification, call identity authentication methods by contact center size. You can see by far, and someone mentioned CLI earlier, didn't they? Where the choices are by an agent, DTMF or touchtone IVR, speech recognition, or voice biometrics, you will see that 89% are very much by an agent. And let me just share the star of the show today. This is Spencer. You're very welcome to connect with me. I hope we all do, Spence. I really do. Um, so you can see here by an agent, probably hardly any movement in this over the period of the decision maker guide by Contact Babel. Um, If a process isn't quite right, engaged employees will smooth over those sharp edges. Likewise, perfect processes can be undermined by those who are disengaged. Danny, you truly are a wordsmith, because it's so true. Nothing surprising here, I don't think, unless anyone has. Do you think there'll be a massive increase in voice biometrics and use of speech recognition to identify callers? Luke, I think it was you who mentioned you got through, it was a good experience, and they knew everything about you. Was that through um, IVR, do you think, recognizing your telephone number? What do you think it was that identified you? Now, moving on swiftly, look at this, the importance of customer personalization as a contact center strategy by vertical market. The decision makers that responded to the survey were asked how important is um, customer personalization to you as a strategy, and the average was 51%. Uh, a wide variance there, and they've been knocked a little bit, and they are under the cosh. But utilities said that customer personalization in 71% of the respondents said that customer personalization was a very important contact center strategy. Um, it doesn't appear it's massively working, but there is a real focus on it. And the discrepancy between utilities and the public sector, for example, or services is very, very wide. Um, sorry, let me just catch up on the previous slide here. Even after using the other methods, I'm always directed to an agent to verify. Never seems to work properly or be trusted, says Mike. Many large organizations have IVR checks, but then duplicate the security check manually with the agent. What are the reasons for that? It seems so unnecessary, doesn't it? Um, I like speak recognition for handicapped callers, says Michael from Germany. Um, the worry with voice as identification is how easy AI can clone and mimic it. Yes, that's a new threat, I guess, isn't it, Kate? Some orgs create such fear around DPA GDPR compliance that advisors can overcheck security ID to ensure they themselves are protected from any repercussions. Yeah, there's a whole show there, I think, isn't there, Danny, around the impact of that. What they say and what they do, a wide divide. Very true. So, just quickly, the personal customer personalization. How important is it as a strategy by vertical market? Some wide differences there. Now, let's look at call routing as well. So, how do you route your calls? And you can see here IVR, CLI, dial number identification service, automated speech recognition, or a visual IVR. 14% said none of these. None of these. We do something else. Now, once the call comes through, what information is available? Do we think? What is the state of our market out there? Well, let's have a look. In personalized customer information that is available to the agent, 67% said they had customer history. Um, then we had customer type, e.g., premium, likely to deflect, long term, etc. Full details of current customer journey, only in 23% of the time. Dynamic scripting assistance changing depending on conversation and customer, 17%. Now, you wonder, don't you, whether that is going to be, we'll see a big increase in that. Preferred method of addressing the customer, 11%. Preferred style of conversation, 5%. Seems like some big misses there. None of these. So in 29%, the respondents said they had no customer history data available. Seems very high. We're not that bothered about how the customer wants to converse. We don't care how we want to address them, but we do know their history. And we don't really have much dynamic scripting assistants. You'd like to think that with the advent of AI knowledge bases, that we're going to be able to see this increase and better help our frontline colleagues dealing with customers with having access to information dependent on where they are at in the customer journey. Let's have a look here. Michael says missing AI bot with automatic intent recognition on your previous slide. On this one, thank you, Michael. That is getting really clever AI routing. I've seen it for outbound routing too. Incredible. A lot of that AI based stuff will increase, but how is customer history at 67%? I'm surprised that's not 90%, and it's fairly standard. I would agree. I would agree. Trying to think my personalization score the highest in utility specifically, possibly because here you often deal with customers in crisis. No central heating, hot water, electricity in the winter. This would make most of us vulnerable. Provide here a personalized and understanding approach, and this will quickly work wonders. Prompt resolution naturally. Thank you, Eva. And you're right, Bev. This does present a big opportunity for CRM integration. As a result of GDPR, one of the biggest challenges for disabled users is that the high street banks will not allow third parties to speak on their behalf for those with learning disabilities or dementia. As a result, life is becoming harder and harder. This is Spencer again. I might get a T-shirt with that put on. This is Spencer. But you make such a good point, and it's really interesting to see. We have a greater awareness of vulnerable customers, but the mazes of customer experience that we are building, are we actually making it harder? We can go, yeah, we recognize people as vulnerable far more than we ever did, but actually the experience that we're offering them is getting worse. So what a powerful, powerful statement, Spencer. As a result, life is becoming harder and harder. Danny's off. This has been fantastic. Danny out. Blows a kiss. Mwah. It's been a journey. Crazy that organizations aren't considering CRM but want to go straight to AI. It's very true, isn't it? I mean, look at all these big misses here, or great big opportunities. Now, in the few minutes we've got left, I want to start us on the journey of something I think we're all going to love. And that is when it comes to the people in our organizations, and specifically those that are at the front end. Okay. So the respondents to the survey were asked what are the most valued characteristics of a contact center agent. And here they wanted to show the difference between 2012 and 2022. So 10 years ago versus now. And let's look at this. Let me just catch up on some comments. Kate agrees with Bev. Agree, Bev. The ability has been around for ages. Scary how low these figures are. It's true, isn't it? Eva says, customer history, whilst often available, is not used by agents. Many are under pressure of AHT and other KPIs, and this is at the cost of the human touch. Hopefully, this show is helping then with awareness of some of these issues. It's quite shocking how bad companies are with their CRM updating. There should be far more education for people on the reasons why updating a CRM is so important. The CRM is the heart of your company. It holds all the data that you should be analyzing. Yeah, very true. Beverly Hughes, amazing that regulations are so far behind. They will arrive at some point, and a lot of AI products will need to adapt after the fact, says Mike. And Eva agrees with you, Marianne. So let's look at this. The most valued characteristic of a contact center agent. The comparison here is 10 years ago to now, 2022 last year. So in 2012, it was considered that empathy and listening skills were the most valued characteristic at 42%. In 2022, that has increased to 56%. So we value these skills, right? And we say, these are the characteristics we want. Is this reflected in our recruitment process? Is this reflected in how we hire people? And is this reflected in how we then train people when they get into our industry? I think those are really important questions because I would question the extent to which, if these are the most valued characteristics, are our processes designed to identify this and then uh, accelerate people's skills in this area? Let's have a look at some of the others. Isn't it interesting? Look at that. Sticks out to me there is that sales technique, 11% said this was a valued characteristic in 2012. Now it's only 2%. We're not that bothered whether people have a sales technique. Ability to deal with repetitive tasks has kind of vanished, 1% last year. Ability to handle stress reduced. I think we're kidding ourselves here with a couple of these. Reliability, uh, 13% in 2012, 10% in 2022. Ability to understand complex issues. So when you look at ability to deal with repetitive tasks and ability to understand complex issues has gone up, repetitive tasks has gone down. It's reflective, isn't it, of that we think now that agents are going to deal with more complex stuff rather than repetitive stuff. How does this bear, relation to the reality out there? Probably not. Um, Tschüss, Michael. Tschüss, Auf Wiedersehen. Um, Little known fact: I was born in Germany, but my grasp of the language is very much limited to football. Because my father was in the Air Force. So anyway, interesting there, the characteristics. Let's look at uh, Scott has. I'd suggest that a significant proportion of agents are employed on the lowest percentage characteristics given here, and then given soft skills training on the job. Yes, soft skills. Unfortunately, what I've seen recently is that the recruitment is more about numbers and the push to fill builds, which is directly affecting retention and engagement. And Kate, nice comment because you lead on to this, the historical mean UK agent attrition from 2003 to 2022. So when we talk about having an attrition problem, um, this graph shows what it's been like over the last 20 years. So the mean agent attrition in 2003 was at 15%. And we now are saying that in 2022, it was at 24%. And you can see there um, the graph showing how that has risen and fallen over this period. And we have been pretty static since 2013, 14 at 19, 20%, up until the last couple of years where there has been a jump from 2020 at 20% to now where we're at 23, 24%. David, when talking about personalization, like he makes a good point here. I would have expected higher personalization in healthcare. Each patient is unique, and almost all conversations need to be conducted in the light of their history. Sadly, most patient management systems are not up to supporting the requirement. Again, and identifying another really good point there, David. What do we think of this then? Agent attrition. Does this reflect what you read, what you are seeing in your own centers or the centers that you support? Would you say that is attrition looking to rise again? Are we going to go back to the kind of 2007, 2008 period? I wonder, was that around the financial kind of crash? Because it dropped to 2010, 16%, and then has kind of steadily increased since then. But this has given us, and I'm sure, like you, when I read this, I thought this is very, very informative. Now, Scott is saying he thinks for me, attrition will fall in 2023. The jump in 2021 22 was due to people leaving COVID impacted industries to other roles. When I joined my current company back in December 21, in my induction group was an opera singer and a chef. Wow. I bet you picked the brain to the chef, Scott, given that's what you wanted to be. Um, Wowzers, that's great. Opera singer would be great in our industry. Um, You're right. Recession reduced attrition. Correct. So let's have a look at agent attrition rate ranges. So you can see over 50% attrition in 2021 versus 2022, 31 to 50%, 5 to 10%. Nothing too much in that. I'm conscious of time. Thank you all so much for staying. I just want to show you one more slide, okay? Agent attrition change over the past 12 months. So the 42% of respondents said in their contact centers they'd seen in 42% of the time, the agent attrition had increased over the past 12 months. 35% said there'd been no major change, and 23% said it's actually decreased. So, Scott, you think if the next year's version of this, you will see a greater percentage saying that it's decreased, right? Um, it's a fascinating subject. I think it's of all the slides that we've been looking at and focusing on, this one has to be one that we pay a great deal of attention to. We're better informed, aren't we, through sharing these numbers and things together. But what do we think of this? It ties in with what you're all thinking. Okay, we'll see. Well, look, I have had I don't know about you, I've had a fantastic time today. It's without doubt been my favorite show. Who knew we should have focused on TV stuff and childhood things? Just quickly here, Marianne agrees with Kate Black's point. It's very true. I think you'll see it grow more next year. We are back to agents moving around contact centers as they are not supported, developed, trained, or coached in the right way. I've got something that might help with that. Um, I'm going, it'll increase with a lot of major call, reducing staff sizes, Google, Wilco's, Virgin Media. Yes, very true. Um, I have one valuable question about AI chatbot. I noticed nearly every AI chatbot gives out telephone numbers for the deaf users. If AI chatbot cannot find the answers for them, but the deaf cannot hear on the telephone. I'm hoping then, hi Spencer again. I'm hoping that someone can answer that for you that is involved in the AI chatbot world. If not, I will find out for you afterwards. Employees want different things now. I think hybrid and flexible working will continue to play a big part in these numbers. And Eva agrees with you, Kate. Not surprised, but expect the trajectory to continue rather than drop in the next few years. Well, let's watch with interest. I have had a lovely time. I hope you have too. And have a lovely rest of the day. Hopefully, you'll go away informed, but with a smile on your face from this morning's activities. It's genuinely been a pleasure. And I will see you all next Tuesday. So, thank you all very, very much. Have a great day.